The courtroom fell into an almost earlier silence the moment Keotae opened his mouth. Cameras flashed, fans screamed furiously, and every reporter leaned forward, desperate not to miss a single word. His voice, low but steady, echoed through the chamber as he delivered the shocking statement that instantly made global headlines. It was me who killed Yu Meng-long. Yet almost immediately, Geo corrected himself, his tone carrying a strange mix of remorse and defiance. No, it was me who caused Yu Meng-long's passing. That subtle change in was sent shivers down the spines of everyone listening, having softened the brutality of the confession. Yet it also suggested layers of truth that the public had not yet been allowed to see. Why did Geo choose this phrasing? What horrifying truth lay beneath his carefully chosen vocabulary? The world demanded answers, and as the details began to emerge, the story unfolded like a nightmare written in real life. To understand the full magnitude of Keotae's confession, one must first revisit the golden image Yu Meng-long had carefully built over the years. Known as both an actor and a rising star in the Chinese entertainment world, Yu Meng-long embodied the dream of modern fame, charismatic on screen, graceful in interviews, and seemingly untouchable in his career trajectory. Fans adored him not just for his roles but for the warmth he projected. A mixture of innocence and maturity that seemed perfectly balanced. Industry insiders once referred to Yu as the eternal spring of Chinese drama, someone who could make even the most ordinary storylines bloom with his presence, his face, his smile, his very aura carried with it a kind of calm reassurance, the promise that life, even in its harshest moments, could be gentle to the outside world. Geo was no villain. He was seen as a friend, a colleague, sometimes even a brotherly figure to Yu Meng-long. Had appeared together at events, shared stages, and left in front of flashing cameras. To fans, their bond seemed genuine, even enviable. Behind those smiles lay shadows no one dared imagine. When Keotae finally admitted his involvement, the world was caught between disbelief and horror. A carefully crafted public narrative of friendship shattered in an instant. Social media exploded. Hashtags surged across platforms. Yu Meng-long, Keotae confession, sharp ripping trust. Millions stayed awake through the night, refreshing their feeds, desperate for updates. What exactly happened? George was hinted at a truth far more complex than a simple crime. He spoke of motives, of varied resentments, of choices that spiraled out of control. World wanted blood, but Geo offered something stranger, a glimpse into a psychological labyrinth that blurred the line between guilt and justification. It wasn't hatred, Geo declared, his eyes glinting with an almost unbearable intensity. It wasn't jealousy either. It was something darker. Something none of you will understand until you've walked in my shoes. Reporters gasped. Whispers spread across the courtroom, and the judge himself seemed momentarily thrown off balance. What could be darker than hatred or jealousy? What possible motive could explain the deliberate ending of another person's life, especially one as beloved as Yu Meng-long? Leaned into the microphone and began recounting a series of events that few had known about. Late night conversations, broken promises, hidden rivalries, and a fact that went terribly wrong. Each sentence added weight to the suffocating atmosphere, and by the time he reached the climax of his tale, some spectators had tears in their eyes while others shook their heads in anger. The truth, Geo claimed, that Yu Meng-long had been carrying a burden too heavy for one person alone. And Geo, instead of helping his friend, became the trigger that ensured the burden would crush him completely. What exactly did Geo mean by burden? Insiders have since pieced together fragments of the puzzle. Rumors suggest that Yu Menglong had been pressured by powerful industry figures, manipulated into contracts that stripped him of freedom and left him chained to expectations he could never fully meet. Geo, who was both confident and competitor, allegedly promised to help, only to become ensnared in his own ambitions. Witnesses recall seeing the two men arguing during the final weeks of Yu's life. Their faces, once relaxed and smiling in public, offer expressions of tension and strain. In one particularly haunting account, a hotel employee described overhearing raised voices behind a closed door. It wasn't just a fight. Employee insisted it sounded like two people whose souls were tearing each other apart. How does a man transform from trusted ally to self-proclaimed destroyer? Geo's confession painted a portrait of desperation. He spoke of sleepless nights, of voices in his head that told him there was no way out. He admitted to moments of weakness where he believed that by removing Yu Menglong from the world, he was somehow granting him release. But the world did not see much. If so, betrayal erupted in rage, calling Geo a monster, a coward, a manipulator hiding behind the language of compassion. To them, replacing the word death with passing was nothing more than a cruel trick, a way to soften the edges of an act that could never be forgiven. Yet to others, that same word choice suggested something more subtle, something chillingly calculated. Geo believed he was reframing reality itself, rewriting Yu Menglong's fate with carefully chosen language. Or was he attempting to mask his own guilt, to hide behind semantics while confessing to the unthinkable? Those who witnessed the confession firsthand say it was unlike anything they had ever seen. Some reporters dropped their pens and into immobility. Families of both Yu and Geo wept openly. Even the judge's voice faltered as he struggled to maintain order. This is not just a case of crime, List declared on live television. This is a case of language, of perception, of narrative. Geo Tae-yu has not only confessed to ending a life, he has attempted to reshape how we interpret that ending. Legal experts wonder that Geo was, while emotionally charged, to also be strategically chosen. In many jurisdictions, the distinction between killing and causing someone's passing can shift the weight of legal responsibility. Was Geo confessing, or was he manipulating the system with masterful precision? Within hours of Geo's statement, every news outlet across Asia and beyond carried the story. Headlines screamed with urgency. Actor Geo Tae-yu turns quote, "It was me who killed Yu Menglong." Terrifying truth behind Yu Menglong's passing finally exposed. Confession or manipulation? The world reacts to Geo Tae-yu's words. Television hosts debated endlessly. Psychologists dissected Geo's mental state, and fans organized vigils demanding justice. Entire neighborhoods lit candles in memory of Yu Menglong, while others vandalized posters of Geo Tae-yu in rage. The entertainment world, once obsessed with glamorous premise and red carpets, found itself drenched in scandal, unable to look away from the unfolding tragedy. On social media, emotions ran higher than ever before. Comments flooded platforms in multiple languages. How could he betray someone who trusted him so much? This is beyond forgiveness. You deserved better. Don't let Geo rewrite the story. Call it what it is, murder. We want the full truth, not word games. There were also voices of doubt, people who questioned whether the entire narrative had been manipulated by forces greater than Geo himself. Could it be that he was confessing to shield others? Was he merely the face of a much larger conspiracy? As the story spiraled, China itself seemed split down the middle. Some called for Geo's immediate and harsh punishment, demanding life imprisonment or worse. others though pure in number whispered that perhaps his was carried a twisted kind of honesty, that maybe he had revealed not just his own guilt but also the cruelty of an industry that devours its brightest stars. Debates raised in coffee shops, saloons, and online forums. Parents used the case as cautionary tales for their children. Fame is not always a blessing. Look at what happened to Yu Mingnong. Universities hosted late-night discussions dissecting every line of Keo's statement. Linguists analyzed his word choices. Ethicists argued over the morality of calling it a passing instead of a test. At the end of the first week, one thing was clear: Keo Tae's confession had not provided closure. If anything, it had opened wounds wider, dragging more questions into the light than anyone could answer. What really drove Keo to cross that line? Was his act truly out of some distorted confession, or was it cold-blooded ambition disguised as mercy? Did Yu Mingnong's burdens justify the framing of his end as a passing, or was that nothing more than a linguistic smokescreen? World waited for part 2 of Keo's testimony, for the continuation of a story that seemed determined to shatter every illusion about friendship, fame, and human frailty. And as cameras continued to roll, everyone knew the most terrifying truth had yet to be